That's hold on. Nope, hold on.
Okay. Still setting up. Welcome in. If you can always just
Yep,
takes a
we're live.
All right, we are live. Welcome in all of you who are looking in, and we welcome you in Facebook, social media, about a dozen centers all around the world, our YouTube channel, and those here behind the curtain, so to speak, on our Zoom room, and those of you looking in live now or the recording during the week or whenever you do find it. We welcome you in. You have found Unity Prosperity Ocean International, an alternative unity ministry operating under the 501c3 umbrella of Unity Worldwide Ministries, a nonprofit corporation. So welcome into our Sunday message and Sunday greeting. So what I'm going to do right now is turn it over to our beautiful First Lady to lead us into the opening with prayer, the daily word, whatever you're inspired to do tonight. Go ahead, come on out.
Good morning, everybody. Today, Sunday, July 2nd. Can't believe it's July, but Sunday, July 2nd. Our word for the day or week today is guidance. I seek, trust, and follow my guidance. Seeking divine guidance means tuning out information and opinions and turning inward. Then, with an open heart and quiet mind, I can better feel the nudge of my intuition, my inner voice. I receive divine guidance much in the way flowers in a field soak up sunshine. Just as following the sun is innate for them, I have the instinct to trust my inner knowing. Even if my guidance surprises me, I trust it to lead me on the path of my highest good. I follow where I feel called to go. I heed the still, small voice within and pay particular attention to the serendipitous circumstances I find along the way. I seek, trust, and follow my guidance. As I do, I deepen my relationship with God, knowing wherever I go, I do not travel alone. And from scripture, Isaiah 58, verse 11, the Lord will guide you continually. We pray this in peace, love, and divine understanding. Amen.
Amen, and thank you. And check that live stream tonight. I think something's up with it.
Oh, okay.
Unless it's just me on my end.
Yeah, it's up. It's running.
Okay, good. Then something's just going on my end. So, very good. All right, let's dive in today. We're wrapping up this series, actually.
I think I'm pinned.
Okay. Today is pinned. All right, there we go. All right, let's get started. We're wrapping up this little mini series that we've been doing. The short title is Into the Mystic. The long title is Moving into and Developing that Always-On Awareness of the Holy, Sacred, Divine Presence that we're immersed in, that lives us, moves us, and breathes us, and is us, pressing out into visibility. So you can tell why I have a short title as well. Into the Mystic. We're talking about the mystics that we already are, and it's not really something mysterious. So the entire last few weeks, Spirit really has been guiding our way in our exploration of the deeply felt call within all of us to connect with, commune with, and be in conscious union with, an awareness of our oneness with a power greater than ourselves, which we call God. We have realized that when we answer this pull, this draw, we do move into the mystic. And when we move into the mystic, we become living embodiments of that joy, I don't know if you remember this, the joy we hear about in a song that I used to like to use. Now, it's not a real popular one, so I don't know if you remember it or not, but in that song, there were lyrics, and the lyrics said, I've got joy in my life. It never ceases to amaze me. Joy, so the negativity can't faze me. Joy, like a river rushing through my soul. I've got to take it to the darkness. Let it brighten the world. There's a fire burning deep inside. We've got to share it. Love, so much love, I almost cannot bear it. Peace, so much peace, I'm living namaste. And everywhere I go, my light is leading the way. I am one with my source of all abundant good. So in touch, all of the ancient truths are understood. I've released all of the stuff that got my life off track. Now my chakras are aligned and nothing can hold me back. And speaking of songs and music, just coming back from the Unity Convention, I bought a license for a whole ton of New Thought music, a license that allows us to use it here online and any recordings I do, and includes everybody, and including Karen Drucker and all the greats. And I brought the entire library of Richard McDeesey and Sue Riley. So we're going to start mixing some music into our Sundays. So that's just a piece of a song that we've shared before. And this month, moving into the mystic, we've really explored the importance of consciously diving into the realization that a mystic is not a mysterious person, but is one who has a deep inner sense of life and of his or her unity with the whole. A mystic is one who senses the atmosphere of God in, as, around, and through all that is, and knows that as infinite as God is equally very, very personal to all who feel its indwelling presence. We've said that as we consciously claim ourselves to be that which we seek, we too will know the status of the true mystic. Remember, that's from Neville, your faith is your fortune. Consciously claim ourselves to be that which we seek, and we too will know the status of the true mystic. And we've acknowledged that in this world where we are pulled and tugged in so many different directions, not only in our outer life with duties and responsibilities, but in our inner life as well, with emotions of hurt and upsets, misunderstandings and anger. We know that cultivating the sweet and sacred place within us, the place of the I am, can sometimes take a back seat and can even seem difficult to do or to just get to. So we're going to look a bit more closely at this today. Now, when we do go to work on it and cultivate it in times of conscious intention, in the silence, in prayer, by making conscious choices to cultivate it, even when it may seem difficult, it comes bursting forth in us in the form of intuition, love, peace, clarity, or to sum up in the lyrics, using the lyrics from that little piece that I just shared with you, enjoy. So today we bring this into the Mystic series to a close by exploring the concept of piercing the veil, so that we will live from that inner place and space of I am consciousness on an ongoing basis. I love our series affirmation that really fits for today. I shared it a few weeks back. It's in the weekly email. And that affirmation is, as I intentionally court the divine presence, I pierce the veil of separation and experience myself as an individualized center of God consciousness. I am one with the power of God, and it flows through me now. It is the presence of my real and true self. I am forever one with life. I am forever one with love. Hang on one second. I just noticed I never adjusted the microphone so it was anywhere close to me. That should be a little bit better. I hope you can hear me. Is that good? Okay. As I intentionally court the divine presence, I pierce the veil of separation and experience myself as an individualized center in God consciousness. I am forever one with life. I am forever one with love. That's what we're going to do today in a couple very powerful and extremely important ways. But first, let's talk for a moment about this veil of separation. What's up with that anyway? What's that all about? The root of much of our difficulty is in the fact that we tend to identify ourselves as mind, body, emotions, and conditions, right? Mind, our body, our emotions, and conditions. That's us. That's our reality. That's from our limited human perspective anyway. We tend to only look at the circumstances of our lives. We look at what is going on in our bodies, in our affairs, in our hearts, and in our heads. And we say that all of this going on is real. We say that this is our reality. Now, at the surface level of our humanity and from our limited human perspective, that would certainly appear to be correct and even accurate. And we don't deny any of it or minimize the impact it can have on all of us. We are more than that. So much more than that. So much more than conditions and circumstances, than situations and our personal imagined fears. We have bodies. We are not our bodies. The body may be in different and varying conditions of health or sickness, rested or tired, but that has nothing to do with the real self. Think uppercase R and S, the real self. We have a mind, but we are not our minds. Our minds may take us on some interesting journeys, and it may seem like we have no control over them, but this is simply not true. The real you is beyond your mind. We have emotions, but we are not our emotions. Our emotions may fluctuate, but our true nature does not change. We may have strong feeling about things, but we are not those feelings. We are much, much deeper than our feelings at any given moment. There is something much, much more that we are. We have experiences and conditions, but we are not our experiences and conditions. We may like some of them. We may dislike, strongly dislike others, yet they cannot touch our true selves. When we identify solely or in great proportion with the mind, the body, the emotions, or the conditions and circumstances, we weave a tighter veil. And every time we get caught in our conditions, in our circumstances, in emotions and situations, or trapped in our negative and fear-based thoughts or the physical state of our bodies, we move into a sense of separation. That's the veil we're talking about here today. Charles Fillmore, Unity's co-founder, says in Talks on Truth, he says, we see only form and make God a personal being located in a city of dimensions. This belief of separateness leads to ignorance because all intelligence is derived from the one divine mind. And when the soul thinks itself something alone, it cuts itself off in consciousness from the fount of inspiration. When we believe ourselves to be separate from our source, we lose sight of the divine harmony. We are like a musical note, standing alone, looking upon other notes, but having no definite place upon the great staff of nature, the grand symphony of life. When we hear, for example, a barbershop quartet or a well-rehearsed choir, we hear individuals as a group that are amazing at harmonizing, don't we? Now, some of the ones I've heard sound like a choir of angels when they sing. But did you know that if you heard just one of their parts standing alone, it wouldn't sound so great? I know that, man. I was part of many choirs and even some little barbershop quartets in high school, but one at a time, it wasn't that all that pleasant. We have to merge these choirs and quartets and harmonizers have to merge into one song, right? In order for the exquisite nature of the music to be heard, the wholeness to be revealed, if you will. And everything, and even though we know this, I should say, this piercing the veil may come easily. For most of us have been under the tyranny of our minds, our bodies, our emotions, and our conditions for a long, long time. This is it. This is my life. Drives me crazy sometimes when I hear, "Oh, these are the cards I've been dealt." You're the dealers of the cards. I mean, is that a fair statement? How many of us have been under the tyranny of one of those things, even in the past 24 hours? This is it. Well, here's some good news about the path of the mystic. It's progress. Progress, not perfection. Remember the story I told a few weeks back about the truth seeker who then collected a group of truth seekers desiring to sit at the feet of some great mystics high on the mountain? Their journey was rigorous and difficult, strenuous and exhausting, and it took a long, long time. But finally, they made it to the precipice where they were told the great mystics lived. Remember that? And when they arrived and went into the room and saw the robed, hooded masters sitting around the table, they were so excited. Finally, this moment made the long and difficult journey worthwhile. When they neared the robed, hooded mystics, they made a discovery. At first, it was a horrifying discovery. What was it? The robes were empty. And then one of the travelers realized that they were the ones who needed to put on the robes because they themselves were the mystics they had been seeking. Remember that story? Do you think that during that journey, they may have had some disagreements about how they should handle things, which road to take, which path, who should lead and who should follow, whether they should stop for rest or keep going? Do you suppose all those things and more came up for them? Do you think the long and extremely difficult journey had anything to do with their ability to put on the robes? Could it be that, in fact, it was the process of the journey itself unfolding, the process of every step, revealing more of their true nature and true identity, that they became the mystics? I love this story of a group of women in a Bible study. The women were studying the passage found in Malachi chapter 3, verse 3, which says, "He will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver." He will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. This verse puzzled the women in the Bible study group, and they wondered aloud what this statement meant about the character and nature of God. One of the women offered to find out all about the process of refining silver and get back to the group at their next Bible study. That week, the woman called a silversmith and made an appointment to watch him at work. She didn't mention anything about the reason for her interest beyond her curiosity about the process of refining silver. As she watched the silversmith, he held a piece of silver over the fire. He had the tongs and he was holding the filter over the fire and let it heat up. He explained that in refining silver, you need to hold the silver in the middle of the fire where the flames are hottest to burn away all the impurities. The woman thought about how sometimes we need to be held in hot spots. Then she thought again what the verse says. He sits as a refiner and purifier of silver. She asked the silversmith if he had to sit there in front of the fire the whole time the silver was being refined. And the man answered, "Yes, not only do I have to sit here holding the silver, but I have to keep my eye on the silver the entire time it is in the fire. If the silver is left a moment too long in the flames, it could be ruined." The woman was silent for a moment. Then she asked the silversmith, "How do you know when the silver is fully refined?" He smiled at her and answered, "Oh, that's easy. When I see my image in it." Oh, that's easy. When I see my image in it. He sits as a refiner and purifier of silver. Do you get that? Do you understand that? Oh, we must put on the robes because we are the mystics. It is through the fire, it is through the journey that the image of the divine is brought forth through us to pierce the veil and get fully in touch with spirit. Individuals often engage in the practice of fasting, right? This is a great example. It's not an example, but this is a great practice to get in touch with spirit. So I want to suggest this morning, not a fast from food, but rather a fast and a feast as we journey through this life experience. See, it is through this journey that we are being refined and purified. And this fasting goes like this: fast from judging yourself and others. Feast on the great I am dwelling in you and in them. Fast from apparent darkness. Feast on the reality of light. Fast from pessimism. Feast on optimism. Fast from thoughts of illness. Feast on the wholeness that is God. Fast from words that pollute. Feast on phrases that purify. Fast from anger. Feast on understanding. Fast from worry. Feast on divine providence. Fast from unrelenting pressures. Feast on unceasing prayer. Fast from complaining. Feast on appreciation. Fast from hostility. Feast on non-resistance. Fast from bitterness. Feast on forgiveness. Fast from anxiety. Feast on hope. Fast from ego. And feast on love. fast from ego and feast on love. That last one is critically important because, in the words of New Thought giant Emmett Fox, he said, "There is no difficulty that enough love will not conquer, no disease that enough love will not heal, no door that enough love will not open, no gulf that enough love will not bridge, no wall that enough love will not throw down, no sin that enough love will not redeem. It makes no difference how deeply seated may be the trouble, how hopeless the outlook, how muddled the tangle, how great the mistake. A sufficient realization of love will dissolve it all. If only you could love enough, you would be the happiest and most powerful being in the world." So I told you earlier that today we'd pierce the veil in a powerful and extremely important way here this morning. And that is what we are now going to do. As I ask the question, how could you in your life pierce the veil with greater love? Now, I want to explore this right now through quiet reflection and a brief guided meditation, looking at the shadows within ourselves so that we may begin to love at the deepest level and in the places where perhaps we have not. Maybe we haven't even looked there quite some time. Now, if you're looking in on social media, if you're looking in on Facebook or any other social media that's out there, or YouTube or whatever it may be, if you want to do this, you are more than welcome to, but I encourage you, if you're going to close your outer eyes, make sure that you're in a safe place to do so, that you're not watching small children or driving a vehicle or operating any kind of machinery or things that can harm you. So I want to invite you to close your outer eyes. Take a deep breath and anchor into this moment of right here and right now. Just breathing in and relaxing. Being fully present in this moment, yet taking your awareness within, looking to those shadows, and specifically that part of you that you may have labeled unlovable. Might be hiding. It might be something that you really don't want to look at, but find it and go to that place and observe that part in you that you feel is unlovable. Now, let's take a moment right now, right here, to love that deepest, darkest part of ourselves. That part of ourself where perhaps shame and guilt lives. Let's call to that frail, yet sacred and scared human self that lives in the darkness. Invite that shadow into the light of love. I like to visualize reaching out, grabbing it by the hand, that part of us that maybe sits in the corner, arms around our knees up by our chest, and it's there. It's filled with something. It feels unloved. Pull it into the light of love. Knowing we've always done the best we could wherever we were along the journey, let's love this shadow with unconditional love and forgiveness. That part of us was being refined. Now, let's gently move on to experiences in our lives that seem unlovable. Let's look to the unpleasant experience and love it for the wisdom it brought us. the strength it has showed us that we have. So many of those experiences did that. They might have been very, very unpleasant. But I always say, retain the wisdom gained. Let go of everything else. Give thanks for the strength that it showed us. Yeah, you have it. You made it through. And even the contrast it has provided us. So we always know what we do want to experience versus what we don't want to experience. And it shows us what true joy is. So really, the experience has been our teacher. Let's shine the light of love on those experiences. Next, let's offer a consciousness of love to someone in our life that we may find difficult to love. Just see yourself radiating that divine love to that person. It's very powerful. And finally, let us all offer a consciousness of love to a place or situation or a people in our world where we have a difficult time loving and sending love. May be uncomfortable at first, but all you're being asked to do right here is send that situation or that place or that people the radiating light and love that God is in us. Now let's take a deep cleansing breath from the center of love, that divine love that lives us, the love that you are, from the depths of the love you have just experienced, knowing you have now pierced the veil and have sailed into the mystic on the wings of love. Just remember that quote earlier from Emmett Fox. There is nothing that love cannot heal. Don't be afraid to ever go there and shine love on the darkest places that perhaps you're holding within. And so it is. And so we let it be. All right. We're going to wrap it up. If anybody wants to come out and share, I'm going to end the Facebook live stream. If anyone's inspired to share a thought, a prayer, a question or answer, let me close it down. I want to thank everybody for looking in on our Facebook page, Unity Prosperity Ocean International, YouTube, and from centers around the world. I want to thank Martin from Trinidad and Tobago for sharing it to over 21 places around the entire world. Thank you for doing that. And thank you all for looking in. We'll see you next time. Don't forget, morning inspiration, 7 days a week, right here on our page. God bless you.